What's going on, guys? Bells here, and today I'll be doing a OU team preview so far on Pokemmo. I call this a rapid offensive team, mainly because I only have one wall, which is Jellicent. So I'll start off with a Skarmory, which is Jolly, and the main reason why it's Jolly is because it's invested in attack and speed even, and 6 HP because it goes up to 510 EV spreads. So I just invested it all into HP. This is a suicide lead, so it's got the Kusap berry. So if a Volcarona, opposing Volcarona leads in, you can just go for a Stealth Rock, and then you can go for a Brave Burn that should be able to one-shot KO it. However, if it's the Volcarona has a not scarf, has a stash, that would be a big problem, and they'll be able to quiver dance. So even if they could do a quiver dance, one turn quiver dance, you can still do spikes or self rock and be able to counter that. To back up Skarmory, I've got myself a Jellicent. So if there's an opposing team, so if you have Powdon and you can do an easy quick taunt because you have speed it's got max speed and max IV attack, so it should be able to KO most Pokemons. But this is just a suicide lead. The Kusap berry will allow you to so if it's around about 25% HP or lower, you'll be able to have priority and move. But if in that case, if it's against Scizor and it does a bullet punch, obviously bullet punch will be priority. I got Jellicent. It's my only wall in my team, and even then it doesn't have max IVs because this is a budget team. I have one mon, but that's really it, which is maxed out for IVs. But this is my Jellicent Bold, and this is able to have Taunt, Scald, Will-O-Wisp, and Recover. This is for this is my spin blocker, so I can just taunt for those defoggers because I speed them with the 120 EVs. Recover just in case I do switch into a tbolt or a volt switch from Rotom or Magnet Zone. I can just go for Recover and go for Will-O-Wisp just to do a little bit of damage and then switch out into Garchomp. So Garchomp covers Jellicent just because of electric types. These two are very weak to electric types and fire types, so Skarmory is weak to fire, so Jellicent helps him out, helps her out even. Garchomp helps out Jellicent because basically stops electric volt switches. So if you're opposing Rotom or other mons that has electric type moves, maybe like Jolteon, but so Garchomp is just a typical Salac. Ooh, Salac berry should be Salac berry. Let me quickly fix that up. So I normally use Salac berry to Garchomp just for additional damage. If I get Garchomp back up, so Garchomp here for additional damage to Jolly, the typical SD sword stance. I bred it myself, but I knew it's not worth it. But hopefully in the future, when I get more money, I can also get more higher IVs Pokemon. But for now, since I'm quite broke, I'll just get some budget mons for now, and then just a typical substitute and sword stance set. So E-Quake, Dragon Claw. It won't be able to KO ferro form with 2 times SD, so it's best if you just go to what's it called, Scizor, because Scizor is able to do SD and then go for a superpower, so dealing a lot of damage. And yeah, so this is Starmie. I would have went for a Alakazam actually, but since I don't have hidden abilities in here in Pokemmo, I switched it out for a Starmie. And since it's unnatural cure, so if it switches into a toxic spike or anything like that, I can just go rapid spin, just a typical set. Serve, rapid spin, ice beam, tbolt, coverage for opposing water types, coverage for ice types because I don't have that right now. And then surf for those fire types. Also Garchomp is good for fire type, so it's Jellicent. Next is Scizor. So I bought this Scizor from the from trade actually. So it is 4 times 31. Special attack doesn't really matter. Special defense I can always change that later. Yeah, pretty much just the basic set. So it's a life orb set. I invested some speed into it just because it can outspeed other mons. Maybe like other Pokemon, I'm not quite sure, but it should be able to outspeed. So it's got super power, sword stance, bullet punch, and bug bite. And then lastly, our Salamance, which is Jolly. Would be better if I went for naive, but I do not have the money. There wasn't any available on the GTL, so I just bought this one. This is 2 times 31, and then 25 times 3 times 25 plus, so it's perfectly fine. So Dragon Claw, Earthquakes, Flamethrower, and Outrage. Might be planning to change Salamance up because it does not actually have the hidden ability of Moxie, so that quite sucks. But it should be able to outspeed other Pokemon in the OU tier, but otherwise I should be able to cover other Pokemon. So if there's like Kingdra, you can stall them out with Jellicent, then you can switch out. Once Jellicent gets KO'd, you can then switch out to Salamance, which outspeeds because of the Scarf. Pretty much it for my team, and I've got a few gameplay videos. This team should be really good for the water teams, but you do have to be wary for those tanky teams or stall teams, just because if Starmie gets down, then the entire team will suffer. Just be able to cover each of these teammates by thinking it through. It's one of the best ways to utilize this team. If there's any notes or anything that you guys would improve on, feel free to comment down below, and I'll just play these battle clips with this team.